I think what they want to know is, you've talked about the transforming power of the gospel, and the question relates to, if you're saying that after you're saved, there's a certain way you have to live, how is that not works-based salvation?
In works-based salvation, it is the works that finally commend you to God, not Christ. But in the New Testament, we are finally acceptable before God exclusively on the ground of Christ's substitutionary death on our behalf. Yet the inevitable result of genuine salvation in the New Testament, I know some people dispute this, but I can't help it if they're wrong. The inevitable effect of genuine regeneration is that there's change in the life. That's why Jesus can say things like, by their fruits you shall know them. And, many shall say to me in those days, Lord, Lord, haven't we done this and haven't we done that? Then I shall say to them, depart from me, you workers of iniquity, I never knew you. So this does not say that Christians are sinlessly perfect. It does not say that they all grow at the same rate. It does not say there's no possibility of a background of slipping and sliding on occasion and having to be restored to God. It doesn't mean that. In fact, the experience of most Christians is that as you get closer to God, you become more aware of the sin in your life. But yet, having said all of those things, putting all those caveats in place, yet when you are converted, you want to do what you didn't want to do before, and you don't want to do what you wanted to do before. There's a change in the heart. There's a cleaning up, a change in orientation, and holiness becomes attractive, instead of something that you have to put up with to figure out what you can get away with. As long as young people are asking, can I get away with this, or can I get away with that, I wonder if they're regenerate. If they're asking instead, how can I grow in holiness, then I suspect they've begun to understand.
What do you make of Scott McKnight's call for a gospel that is first Christology and second soteriology in his recent book, King Jesus Gospel?
Scott's an old friend. He's a creative writer and thinker. He couldn't write a boring sentence if he tried. He's an excellent communicator. He is also temperamentally a guy who likes to take on almost anything that's going and push it in another direction. You know what I mean? So if a whole lot of people are saying this, he wants to say, not really that, really this. And if they're really saying something over here, then he wants to say, no, it's really something else. He's the universal corrector. He would probably grin and laugh if he were here, because he knows that it's true. At the same time, one of the things that bothers me about some of Scott's writings is that often he is right in what he affirms and wrong in what he denies. That is, when he says, it's not this but this, I want to say, why are you giving me an alternative? I think it's a whole picture. It's both and. How can you possibly have a genuinely biblically faithful Christology without the soteriology entailed? How can you possibly have a genuinely faithful biblical soteriology without knowing something about Christology? So why do you want to pit them against each other? That to me is almost incoherent. And so I know what he's trying to correct. I know the error that he's trying to correct. But I think that it is rarely the path of wisdom to correct an error by advocating a pendulum swing. The path of wisdom when there's an error is to try to find the center of biblical faithfulness again, rather than a pendulum swing.
Kind of makes me think of the difference between, well, we call it systematic theology. So it's a system, but people seem to present it like segmented theology. And what you're saying is that Christology and soteriology should fit together rather than be viewed segmented, right?
Well, they are intertwined. You can start anywhere in systematic theology and embrace the whole. Mm-hmm. And the trick is to find out how, biblically, they ought to be intertwined. And then think through how they need then to be intertwined in our presentations and in our apologetics and in our evagelism and in our systematics and so on. But it's not as if biblical truth is separate pearls on a string, and which pearl you put in what order makes no difference, or anything of that order. It's more like a symphony, and all the instruments need to be playing together.